It's okay to offer 2 people, 3 people, even though you only have 1 position. You might end up with 3 superstars and now you can make your team better. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. We're going to continue on with our multi-part series about how to build a sales team. We've already talked about recruiting and we've talked about the interview process. Now we're going to talk about the selection process. So at this point, you've had a chance to review people's resumes, and if you followed my pattern, you've had a chance to meet your candidates at least twice. Once as part of a group interview and once as part of a one-on-one interview. Now we're going to take all of those things that we've learned about this candidate and see who we're going to make an offer to. So we need to go through that selection process. And along the way here, I have assumed, and this is a best practice, that you're not doing this on your own, that you have other people as part of the hiring team. Now, you may be the only sales manager at the store and you're the one primarily responsible for hiring your sales staff. That doesn't mean there's not help out there. Maybe you have a senior sales consultant that you can loop into your group interviews and your hiring process. Or maybe there's managers in other departments that you can get to help you. But make sure that it's not just you making these decisions. You want to have at least 1, ideally 2 other people that you're bouncing ideas off of. So once you have this, let's call it selection committee, and the people who have met all of your potential candidates, what do? You've met them, you've interviewed them. How do you decide which ones you want to offer? Now, one thing, just because you're hiring somebody doesn't mean they're going to stick around with you. And the unfortunate part of the car sales industry is it's not for everyone. And again, going back to the type of people that we've been interviewing, these are people who have not necessarily been in the car sales business. These are people who have customer service or other sales experience, but maybe not car sales experience. So you may or may not find somebody, even after your thorough interview process, that is actually a perfect fit for you. So in my mind, I would say for every 3 or 2 people that you hire, 1 might actually stick. So it's okay to offer maybe 2 people, maybe 3 people, even though you only have 1 position. What's the worst that can happen? You might end up with 3 superstars and now you can make your team better. Let's walk through that process. Once you have all of the information in front of you, you again need to have some kind of a formalized way of scoring these people or coming up with some kind of an idea of how you're going to objectively measure these people. So you're going to have to come up with some kind of a report card. Between you and the other people on your recruitment team, you want to identify what are the key things we're looking for, and on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 5, where does person A fall in versus person B? And then once you come up with that, you'll have an, let's call it a numerical score of where this person ranks. Once you have that, you'll have a really, really good idea of the people that you want to make offers to. But before you do that, I have one more pro tip for you. You may want to say that, hey, we've identified you as one of our top candidates, but as one of the last steps before we actually offer a position is we would like to do a personality test. So there's a couple out there. One of them is called the DISC test, and the other one is called the caliper test. And all of these are taking very high level personality tests and filtering them down into very easy for you and I, people who are not into psychology, to administer, score, and interpret. Personality tests are not the be all and end all. However, they are a very valuable tool to let you know who this person is and what is actually going to make them tick. And it's not from the point of view that if a certain person has this personality trait, we don't want to hire them. No, not like that. All you want to know as a manager, you're going to be dealing with so many different types of individuals and so many different types of personalities. You just need to know from your point of view, what are you going to do and how are you going to train and mentor that person so you can tailor how you speak to that person in the way that they want to be spoken to. So they're going to retain and absorb the information that you want. So I'd highly recommend finding some kind of a personality profile that you can send out to your potential hires. The next thing we want to do is, after we get that personality profile back from them, and another thing is, if they don't complete it, you don't want to hire them, right? You, as somebody that wants to hire somebody, if you're asking a potential candidate to do something and they don't do it in a timely fashion, you don't want that person, trust me. So carry on. Those people who do actually get back with your homework on the personality test, now you score it, you interpret it, you decide what does that mean for me, and then you make your offer. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next section. Okay, so now you've got back your personality profiles and you've scored them and you've interpreted them. What about reference checks? Are those valuable? Let me ask you a question. If you were interviewing for a position, would you give a potential employer of yours a bad reference? Highly unlikely. So in my mind, the reference checks that people put on their resumes are absolutely useless. You're never going to get any information about that person that is valid. Either it's a friend or a family member that they've kind of teed up to say, hey, be my boss for this, or it is their actual employer. But in the end, if they've put somebody as a reference, you know it's going to be a good one, so don't waste your time. Don't even bother calling the references. But what I would do is Google these people. Google the name. Go on different social media platforms and see if you can find them. A lot of people don't know about privacy settings, and you get to learn a whole lot about them and their personal lives. And you're gonna see how they actually interact in the real world. And you can get a sense of, is this person gonna be a fit in your environment or not? There's been some funny stories that maybe I'll share with you later, but there's quite a bit of information you can learn when you go on social media and Google people. So definitely take that few minutes and do that. Don't just run straight to the offer, okay? Perfect. So, like I alluded to, the next step is then how to offer these people a job. So we'll talk about that in the next segment of this series. So we'll see you then. Thanks for sticking with us. Take care.